In Africa, as elsewhere, aflatoxin contamination in food and fodder poses a serious threat to people and animals with grave health and economic implications. For a solution to this deadly toxin, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, partnered with the Agricultural Research Service of the United States Department of Agriculture to develop Aflasafe. Aflasafe is the product of nearly 2 decades of meticulous research and dedicated product development. It is an environmentally friendly natural product that reduces aflatoxin contamination by between 80 and 100% for maize, groundnuts and sorghum, all important foods in Africa. To ensure that Aflasafe effectively and efficiently moved from research to market and thus aid Africa's fight against aflatoxin in food, IITA initiated the Aflasafe Technology Transfer and Commercialization Initiative, ATTC, in 2016.
This project is just building on what has been done so far. A lot of work has been done, a lot of science. We have a lot of support, political in terms support, having PACA here, and even at the different level and having our partners. At country level, the government, the partnership is going to be key. That's the reason why even the strategy that we are going to develop has to be endorsed at national level to make sure that we have this ownership.
This is part of the strategy of African Union Commission to come up with the programs, flagship programs that help member states in addressing complex cross-cutting issues. So the aflatoxin reduction program is also part of that strategic thinking. The political will in many countries exists. So what countries need is direct support. African Union offers different policy frameworks that can help us mainstream this issue. For example, many of you know about the famous Malabo Declaration commitments of 2014. So in those commitments, we have ending hunger, tripling intra-Africa trade, reducing poverty by 2025. All of this cannot be achieved without adequately addressing aflatoxins. And we need solutions such as Aflasafe, of course, and with 90% reduction, if we complement it with some procedures that can improve quality, such as sorting, we can achieve nearly 100% control of the contamination. And also, we shouldn't leave to IITA alone to take this technology now to the farmers, to the end users. Of course, we'll still need IITA support because of the unique nature of the product. IITA should support us in technical backstopping and making sure the quality is still up to standard. This project has taken off with a clear strategy, is on a clear path. Awareness is important, and working with the partners at country level, leveraging with other efforts to get the policy backing for creating enabling awareness would be very important.
The launching of Aflasafe today is no small feat. It's not a small achievement, and this should be celebrated continentally. The public and private partnership business model should be the basis of all our interventions. Governments alone cannot do it. We need the support of the private sector. We need the support of even the civil society organizations to help promote this important technology.
Actually, I'm very, very impressed with this project because we see 70% of farmers in Nigeria, in Africa, I believe too, they are poor. And we want to see how we can increase their income to help them out. We can include it as a package to our GES scheme, that the growth enhancement for farmers.
Be assured that our agency, ANCA, will mobilize all its means and its personnel to support this project to make more sensitization, more awareness to actors in order to allow them to buy more Aflasafe products. And the challenge for us is to import or to use a large quantity of Aflasafe for the farmers in Senegal.
Looking forward to making Aflasafe available to our farmers and for farmers to know about it. The first one is to ensure that the Kenyan citizens have clean, safe produce, especially maize. We are also there to take part in the commercialization of Aflasafe, and we do believe in the 3 Ps, the PPP, public-private partnership, and the government is out to work together with the private sector partners very, very closely.
We are promoting the good agricultural practices as a way to address the aflatoxin contamination. They are not adequate. We need other technologies that are more effective to complement the good agricultural practices. For that reason, Tanzania has joined other teams to conduct the efficacy trials for registration. We have presented our results for the efficacy trials, and they were really appreciated by the technical team. So we're expecting to accomplish the registration process.
Aflatoxin is a major problem in Ghana, in the areas where they produce the bulk of the maize and the granite. Most of the farmers will get harvest. After harvesting, they may lose at almost all their produce. For now, we can't export granite paste because of the aflatoxin of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. First of all, I'll thank the IITA. I'll make sure that all the farmers who produce the maize and do granite for export have access to their product, and then they can use it so they can have aflatoxin-free produce from the farm.
Et également, chez nous, nous sommes confrontés au problème de l'aflatoxine. J'aimerais tout simplement dire que nous sommes disposés à accompagner l'IITA dans la promotion de ce produit au Burkina Faso.
The continent has spoken, and has spoken very well. They have said it's an African problem that requires an African solution. But today, this is where the rubber meets the road. And there's nothing that makes anyone happy who has been involved in development work than hearing that it has actually reached the level where it has today.
First, about the Foundation's commitment to aflatoxin and food safety in general. I think another thing that's very important to us is partnership. So obviously our partnership with USAID on the funding of this, funding is critical, and we appreciate when we have the opportunity to work with other donors. But also we've created partnerships through the work with PACA, through the work with AgResults that you've heard about, that really are trying to look at this issue from a variety of perspectives. So from the policy side, the government side, and all of the different actors that have to kind of work in concert to solve the aflatoxin challenges.
IITA implemented ATTC in collaboration with Chemonix International for Business Development and Dalberg for Strategy Development. ATTC's target was to cover 500,000 smallholder hectares with Aflasafe within 5 years in 11 African countries. To do this, ATTC took a 3-phase approach, developed the commercialization strategy, selected investors and transferred the technology, and assisted licensees as needed in refining and executing their business plan. ATTC organized investors fora for interaction with prospective investors. 6 investors fora were held across Africa: Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Tanzania. From these investors fora, a rigorous process was followed to identify the best investor in each country, to manufacture and market Aflasafe, followed by signing of technology transfer and licensing agreements, TTLAs, between IITA and various private sector partners. The TTLA provides the necessary incentives for private sector investment, but it also balances between the company's profit motive, affordability by farmers, and IITA's obligation to disseminate international public goods from publicly funded research. The TTLA also sets out production targets and distribution targets that each partner is expected to meet. The private sector partners selected are Bamtari for the Gambia and Senegal, Harvest Field Industries for Nigeria, and A to Z for Tanzania. In Kenya, Aflasafe is being commercialized by the government through the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO. KALRO has contracted Coppet as an Aflasafe distributor. Other IITA licensed distributors are UPL in Ghana, Safito in Burkina Faso, and AISL in Malawi. These private sector partners constructed Aflasafe factories in Senegal and Tanzania, while one is nearing completion in Nigeria. All these private sector factories are on a BOO basis, built, owned, and operated by the private sector. Construction and equipping of the Aflasafe factory in Kenya was funded by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, as a turnkey facility for the government of Kenya. As part of the technology transfer agreement, IITA provides these commercialization partners with continuing necessary technical advice and backstopping for Aflasafe production and business development.
À mesure où de plus en plus les exigences des clients évoquent justement la question de la contamination du maïs par l'aflatoxine, nous avons jugé important d'intégrer ce nouveau produit Aflasafe dans le cadre de notre pack intrant que nous distribuons aux producteurs de maïs. L'IITA, qui est initiateur de la diffusion de l'Aflasafe BF1 au Burkina Faso, nous a assisté au moins suivant 3 directions. La première direction, c'est l'assistance technique par la formation qui a été centrée sur d'abord la connaissance du phénomène de l'aflatoxine et deuxièmement l'utilisation technique du produit Aflasafe par les producteurs et également tout l'itinéraire technique qu'il faut donc appliquer pour l'utilisation de l'Aflasafe. En deuxième étape, nous avons pu bénéficier de tout le portefeuille de producteurs, d'organisations paysannes qui étaient jadis sensibilisés par l'IITA. Donc ils ont du coup donc élargi notre base clientèle. Et enfin, le troisième soutien que nous avons pu avoir de l'IITA, c'est toutes les opportunités qu'elle nous a offertes pour communiquer et faire l'opération marketing et vendre davantage le produit dans des milieux où de plus en plus cette question est devenue récurrente. Le flux de sortie de stock de l'Aflasafe vers les producteurs de maïs a été beaucoup plus important cette année que l'année dernière et les besoins qui nous remontent aujourd'hui pour la saison prochaine sont bien largement supérieurs aux consommations de l'année dernière. Alors donc nous souhaitons surtout féliciter l'IITA pour l'initiative parce que c'est une initiative qui donne des résultats probants. Nous avons pu observer l'efficacité avérée du produit auprès des producteurs, la qualité est bien établie et cette année nous avons pour la production 2020-2021 où nous avons pu toucher l'ensemble de nos producteurs de maïs, nous avons pu observer que le maïs qui a été collecté jusqu'à ce jour 31 décembre, jusqu'au 31 décembre par exemple, environ 1 millier de tonnes, nous avons reçu 0 récrimination, 0 plainte pour cause de présence d'aflatoxine dans le maïs. Alors même que l'année dernière, avec une très faible utilisation de l'aflatoxine, le ratio était pour 1000 tonnes collectées, on avait à peu près 245 tonnes de maïs qui étaient donc rejetées pour cause de présence d'aflatoxine.
Aflasafe falls within our strategic vision of our core competency in provision of solutions to agricultural challenges of farmers. A new product is always not a challenge to us. We are used to that, introducing new products, new ideas to farmers year in, year out. So, the company has been doing this for the past 20 years. So we are very good in the terrain of introducing a new product to farmers. It's not an easy task because farmers also they are very careful in trying new products. And why? Because they don't want to burn their fingers. And you know, agriculture in Nigeria is changing now. It's no longer a way of life, it's a business. So when you have taken a loan as a farmer and invested in planting your this and that, for whatever you want to use on them, you have to be extremely very careful. And we are dealing with a lot of peasant farmers that are not literate. So they are used to their old methodology, old inputs. Actually, we also have the strength of our distribution network, which covers the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. We have 18 offices and warehouses. We have over 250 technical staff. Introducing a new product is not a new thing to Harvest Feed at all. It was 2016 we first started discussing with IITA. They have always been there ever since. Even the time we were preparing the business plan, they were there and they assisted us a lot. Also, the commercialization strategy, which they assisted us, especially through the ATTC project. What we saw there was that the ATTC came. I would say they came before the action started. But they have always been there in giving us a roadmap. They continued when we signed the IITA agreement, and they were there whenever we have any challenges. Up to the time we started the production, we are investing over 3 to 5 billion naira on this. It's a huge investment.
Le projet a démarré il y a à peu près 6 ans, d'abord par des tests en collaboration avec l'IITA, tests avec les producteurs. À l'époque, le produit nous venait du Nigeria, donc on l'importait. On a fait tous les tests qu'il fallait, aussi bien au Sénégal, en Gambie, et on a prouvé que le produit pouvait être utilisé pour lutter contre l'aflatoxin au Sénégal. Donc c'est fort de ce constat et de l'engouement que les producteurs ont sur ce produit que Bamtare a décidé d'investir. Nous avons prévu un investissement d'environ 300 millions. Au début, nous allons produire de petites quantités et monter en puissance. Donc à partir de la 4e année, nous serons en mesure de mettre sur le marché environ 3200 tonnes d'Aflasafe par an.
Donc la Sodefitex, depuis 1974, depuis l'origine, a travaillé dans le cadre de l'agriculture contractuelle, c'est-à-dire apporter des résultats de la recherche, apporter des intrants agricoles, apporter un conseil agricole à la carte approprié, former des agriculteurs, les mettre en position de compétir sur les marchés internationaux les plus compétitifs. Donc cette expérience, nous la mettons au service de tous les exportateurs, de tous les agro-industriels qui sont dans le domaine de l'arachide, mais aussi du maïs, pour qu'avec l'Aflasafe, qu'on puisse avoir un produit de qualité, exportable, aux normes les plus élevées de notre temps.
In addition to the countries where Aflasafe is being manufactured and distributed, Aflasafe has been registered in Mozambique and Zambia, while product research and development is ongoing in Uganda. To further support commercialization through active promotion, ATTC and country partners launched Aflasafe in several countries. Along with instructional leaflets and videos for farmers on how to use Aflasafe, and training aids for extension officers. ATTC also produced multi-language videos, audio clips and short dramas to publicize Aflasafe.
Too alert, this early momo. Musa, not be the same mess when me and you they plant. How come your own they take sell fast? Musa, you show me the way now.
Dele, now because my own no get one yama disease where I know the see. Then they call them aflatoxin. Now it make my customers and they buy my own sharp.
Oh boy!
But no fear, my guy. Solution day. Then they call them Aflasafe.
All these resources and more are publicly available on the Aflasafe website.
formation bi limi ci jangat man sama jëm bop amna ci yakar ndax luy ar febar lu ne tay xam ko war nañ ci farlu.
La formation a été très bénéfique et ça s'est bien passé parce que nous tous nous savons les conséquences que l'aflatoxine cause sur les plantes. C'est une grande satisfaction de ma part et nous comptons démultiplier ce que nous avons appris ici au niveau des producteurs que nous suivons au niveau de notre coopérative pour qu'ensemble qu'on puisse éradiquer ce mal qui gangrène le secteur de l'agriculture.
Mais aujourd'hui vraiment, ça me parce que c'est un côté santé qui m'interpelle plus. Donc je sais pourquoi aujourd'hui vraiment la formation là est bénéfique pour moi. Donc ça va me permettre au moins d'éviter à certaines personnes d'attraper le cancer et ça va me permettre aussi d'aider aux producteurs d'arachide de pouvoir au moins un jour exporter leur arachide.
C'est une formation très utile parce que ce sont les producteurs qui doivent utiliser ce produit. Si les producteurs ne savent pas comment ils l'utilisent, ils ne pourront pas l'appliquer comme il le faut.
Kon na xamne donc wër gi yaram dafa am solo trop ci doomu adama ndax bo wéré dans la fankal nga mëna faju donc kon te bo fébaré la nga doon fajo ji donc lolu am ko mo génné ci sa biir poste la donc li la fankal lolu kon donc sakana na sa poste ndax bo fébaré da ngay faju ci te bo fajo fofu nga génné xaliss kon li la fankal nga mëna ci fébar bobu kon donc fankal na la sakana na sa poste kon donc ñetti ñetti am na ci.
L'aflatoxine est dangereux et voilà l'aflatoxine, il aura la peine de prendre ça, même si on le vendait cher, ça vaut la peine de l'acheter et de le mettre dans les champs d'arachide aussi bien que dans les champs de maïs.
I don't know what is called Aflasafe before. This is the first day and the first time for me as a farmer to know the Aflasafe. I will be applying Aflasafe on my farming and I will enlighten my farmers to use this Aflasafe as the most appropriate solution to solve this problem. We are now enlightened on how to use the Aflasafe.
I really appreciated the efforts made by IITA to come up to this level, to the ground level, to come and train these farmers on this very issue. When in fact, it's a credit to IITA. At the same time, at least it's to our benefit and to the benefit of our farmers. I know by next year now, or at least most of the production that will come out from this very zone will be free of this aflatoxin problem.
Farmers are already reaping benefits from Aflasafe.
I started using this Aflasafe since 2014. A maize that is being farmed with Aflasafe. Ordinary, we don't sell it to ordinary marketers. It's these poultry farmers, this big company that make Nestle food that come. Some came from Port Harcourt just to come and buy the yellow maize we produce from here. Why? Because of the quality of the maize.
ATTC's interactions and partnerships were not limited to the private sector. To create a conducive environment for the uptake of the technology, IITA has consistently pursued an intersectoral approach, simultaneously also engaging policymakers, regulatory agencies and development partners.
Aflasafe is about the first novel biopesticide that is produced by IITA. The product is registered by NAFDAC, and before registration it is subjected to all the necessary screening. We did a field trial in various locations in the country. The successful result of the field trial was what led NAFDAC to register the product. And so far so good, the result from the farmers that are using it has been very, very encouraging.
The Nigeria government has endorsed Aflasafe.
We also informed Council of the problem we have with Nigerian grains, especially maize, sesame and groundnut. An infestation called aflatoxin, which the Minister of Health confirmed is a very big threat to the liver and the kidney of most consumers. So luckily IITA has found a product which they produce in large quantities to eliminate aflatoxin. The product which they produce is called Aflasafe.
In Senegal and the Gambia, Aflasafe has been incorporated into the national plans to fight aflatoxin.
Il est enfin prévu la construction d'une unité de production de ce produit Aflasafe SN01 dans notre pays à un prix abordable pour tous les producteurs d'arachide, mais également de maïs.
Je fais un appel pour que tous les cultivateurs, tous les paysans puissent utiliser l'Aflasafe pour protéger leurs récoltes et protéger leur famille. Parce que ces paysans sont les premiers touchés. Nous pouvons vraiment prévenir les méfaits de l'aflatoxine en utilisant l'Aflasafe dans nos récoltes.
Aflasafe's main distributor in the Gambia is the country's National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation, NFS-PMC. In Kenya, Aflasafe is manufactured by the government through Caro.
Yes, we are doing production, but what we need is to introduce this to our farmers, and also we are coming up with a policy. I'll be pushing it through the cabinet so that we can come up with laws that will dictate that for every farmer in the country, and especially in the highly infested area, they must use Aflasafe.
In Tanzania, Aflasafe is included in the package of aflatoxin solutions promoted by TANIPAC, the Tanzania government initiative for preventing aflatoxin contamination.
It is my great satisfaction that a report that biocontrol products known as Aflasafe TZ01 has been developed and registered for commercial use in Tanzania. This is a very good advancement. This is a very good step. Congratulations for this. I'm equally thrilled by the fact that the private company is investing in a manufacturing plant and is organizing the marketing and distribution of this life-saving product in the country.
Na A to Z imefanya mafunzo mengi sana, na pia ina mkakati wa kufanya mafunzo karibu kila sehemu kwa kushirikiana na serikali. Kwa hiyo hili sio tatizo tena. Unajua tatizo linapokuwa halina ufumbuzi ndio linakuwa tatizo. Lakini kwa sasa hivi sio tatizo. Si tatizo kwa sababu Aflasafe ipo.
Rai yetu sisi kama ACT ni kwamba tutashirikiana kwa karibu sana na A to Z katika kuhamasisha wadau wengine wa maendeleo, lakini vile vile mashirika mbalimbali ya sekta ya umma na sekta binafsi, ili waweze kuendelea kusambaza hii teknolojia kwa wakulima, yani Aflasafe, lakini vile vile tuweze kutengeneza uelewa kwa wakulima wetu wa jinsi ya kutumia.
Tumekuja na
teknolojia ya kibiolojia inajulikana kama Aflasafe TZ1, ni mahususi kwa ajili ya kukabiliana na fangasi hawa wabaya wanaozalisha sumu kuvu.
In Ghana, ATTC was instrumental in triggering a still ongoing multi-partner nationwide campaign on aflatoxin and its harmful effects, spearheaded by the Ghana Standards Authority. IITA also signed an MOU with the Ghana Commodity Exchange. ATTC has worked closely with the recently established National Aflatoxin Steering Committee, which has initiated efforts for a policy on aflatoxin management. Technical regulations have been approved by the Parliament's Legislative Committee. The resultant policy document will be presented to the Cabinet. All these developments bode well for Aflasafe's successful commercialization in Ghana. Besides national government and agencies, ATTC partnered with regional and intergovernmental organizations such as the African Union (AU) and the Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS). This was in a bid to ensure the message on aflatoxin and Aflasafe reaches all policy and decision makers in member countries. For example, in December 2019, ATTC and the AU's Partnership for Aflatoxin Control in Africa, PACA, facilitated a dedicated session on aflatoxin at the 15-country ECOWAS Parliament. Earlier in August 2018, ATTC was instrumental in convening a collaborative food safety side event co-hosted by the African Union, the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, and IITA. Between January 2016 and October 2020, Aflasafe manufacturers and distributors sold a total of 3,600 tons of Aflasafe across Africa, enough to protect 360,000 hectares of maize, groundnuts and sorghum. For the 11 countries targeted for commercialization through ATTC, Aflasafe is on sale in 7 countries, registered in 3, and in product development in 1. ATTC's efforts in commercializing Aflasafe have yielded concrete and long-lasting results in some of the target countries. Today, Gambian groundnuts are back on the European export market, thanks to Aflasafe. Independent tests in destination markets on Aflasafe treated groundnuts exported by NFS PMC in 2018 and 2019 showed total aflatoxin at 4 parts per billion and less, well within the stringent European standards. Compared to other markets, European markets command nearly double the price, given that 40 to 50% of the country's cultivated lands are devoted to groundnuts. Aflatoxin-safe export quality groundnuts have significant socio-economic implications for the Gambia, both for public health at home and in external trade. This is because aflatoxin greatly handicaps the Gambia's food safety and economic security, erodes the country's goals on health, and undermines poverty eradication. With Aflasafe use and distribution in the hands of the government through NFS PMC, the Food Safety and Quality Authority FSQA, and other government agencies, and with the support of other organizations such as FAO in awareness creation on aflatoxin and Aflasafe, the future looks bright for Aflasafe in the Gambia as an effective tool to fight aflatoxin. In both Senegal and Nigeria, in addition to Aflasafe's endorsement by government and local production, early Aflasafe adopters in the agribusiness sector are already successfully exporting Aflasafe protected groundnuts to international markets with stringent aflatoxin standards. They are part of a growing core of returning customers for Aflasafe, having been satisfied by Aflasafe's consistent performance in fighting aflatoxin. In Burkina Faso, pioneering agribusiness entrepreneurs have already introduced Aflasafe in their supply chain.
Quand on regarde aussi les études qui ont été menées au Burkina avec des taux d'aflatoxine très élevés sur l'arachide tout marché, voilà. En considérant aussi les études scientifiques qui ont démontré quand même que Aflasafe était très efficace, il est clair que Aflasafe va occuper qu'on appelle une place très très importante dans notre capacité aujourd'hui à utiliser l'arachide local. Donc nous comptons bien continuer à utiliser Aflasafe.
ATTC has entered fruitful partnership with UN agencies such as FAO and the World Food Programme, which have incorporated Aflasafe in their anti-aflatoxin interventions. ATTC is also working with the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Agriculture and CPF, the country's apex body representing farmer organizations, to implement RECMA-BF, a pilot project to control aflatoxin contamination in maize. ATTC has also played a convening role for broad knowledge sharing and experience exchange. In November 2019, ATTC organized the first ever Aflasafe for Africa conference in Arusha, Tanzania, bringing together Aflasafe manufacturers and distributors from across Africa for the first time. Also attending were government agencies, regulators and high-level representatives of continental and regional communities, suppliers of manufacturing equipment and consumables, and aflatoxin-conscious bulk commodity buyers. A key document for the conference was a brief summing up the ATTC's experience in commercializing Aflasafe. The following year, in 2020, summative reports were published for 6 countries, as well as publicly accessible commercialization guides. These add to the stock of knowledge, tools and products formulated and disseminated in the public domain by ATTC since its inception. They are all available online. But knowledge alone without action is nothing. The private and public sectors are indispensable actors for Aflasafe's crucial life-saving mission. Particularly important is the decision by national governments to include Aflasafe in their various programs and interventions. First and foremost, as a matter of food safety and public health, with attendant socio-economic benefits. With this public and local participation and ownership, Aflasafe will steadily continue to move from product development at IITA to local production and broad use in the countries for which it is designed and destined. This transition to nations is IITA's best guarantee to assure long-term product access and sustainability through local institutionalization. ATTC's contribution has been to pave a pioneer pathway for Aflasafe's commercialization. For more on ATTC, visit the commercialization page on the Aflasafe website. IITA's work on Aflasafe continues. Much has been done, and much more remains to be done.
The stage 1 is what we are celebrating now. That is, a private sector has taken the bull by the horn to invest in it. Now we are going to the market. Now, then they should also be there, at least for the next 2-3 years, to see that like a child that is walking. It takes time for the child to perfect the walk, So the mother will not leave the child alone. It will fall, it will get up, and things like that. So that is what we expect from ATTC, that it should have been a 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2, which is the post. So the post is what we are expecting. Although they have informed us that they are not leaving us alone, that there will be an office in IITA that will focus, that will be there to support us. But it will have been better if it is a funded, well-funded project that we carry out the phase 2 of the commercialization strategy. Well, the major challenges we are facing now, first and foremost, is the adoption rate, which is still very low. Our vision is not to continue to expect institutional procurement of Aflasafe by government, by NGO, by off-takers and so on. We want the farmers to adopt the product as an inevitable product that they must use. Farmers get all their inputs ready and waiting for the rain to fall. So when they are gathering that, we expect that our maize farmers, groundnut farmers, the first thing to be on their list will be Aflasafe, because they know that without it, the end product, which is the harvest product,
will not be acceptable to the outtakers. So until we get to that level, then we will say we have arrived. So that is why we are saying in Aflasafe that we are only just entering phase 2. So the next stage is for farmers to now adopt it, which is the second phase. And that is, we have crossed the bridge of production and marketing, but now adoption is the next stage. And that is where we need a lot of support, both from government, NGOs, especially like NAFDAC, to come in, because that is to be their primary focus, safety of our foods. And that is one of the cardinal objectives of NAFDAC, to ensure that the food that are put on our tables are safe. And the government also to ensure that our maize is also of good quality. You know, farmers now want to smile to their bank as well, so that when they produce their maize, they will be able to get off-takers to take them from them. Going to do a stakeholders conference. How can we make sure that the adoption rate increases? So we want to come and showcase the results. These are the areas where we would need support of IITA, ATTC, to consider what we are saying, that they should consider a phase 2 project to continue to support the commercialization of and adoption of Aflasafe in Nigeria. Once we get it right in Nigeria, you can be rest assured that other African countries will get it right. So we are now going to biocontrol, because the world is changing, even from pesticides. So it's not going to be only Aflasafe we are going to go into. We are considering other biocontrol products as well, that will make a natural, our end products from farmers without pesticides. I know this is one of the issues that is coming up on environmental issues now. So we are already ahead, of that projection.
The project should also consider developing an extension strategy so that many more farmers can benefit from the technology that can transform African agriculture in a very significant way. We must build on the success story. We want to have a sustainable project that one day would be mainstream into our national agricultural systems, would be mainstream into our development agenda in our respective countries. And also, we would like to see such technologies not restricted to 11 countries, but we look forward to the day 54 countries can claim ownership of the technology.
Beyond ATTC, Aflasafe research and products currently reach 20 countries in Africa.
With these products, Aflasafe, we can actually comfortably declare that aflatoxin is in great danger. Can we do that? I believe we can. We are only going to win the battle when actually we have reached the 54 countries in Africa.
Our governments, our member states, public, private sector, civil society organizations should all come together to join hands to address the challenges of aflatoxin. And this calls for investments. Governments must put in money, just as we have been putting in money in other emergencies that arise in the region from time to time.
For more on Aflasafe beyond the 11 countries targeted by ATTC in 2016 to 2020, visit Aflasafe Where I Am and click on your country of interest.